right, Coach? It looked like they were kind of narrowed in on Tip Rock.
Yeah. Looking back, I thought we did a fairly good job of hanging in there the first half. I liked our second quarter as well. We couldn't hit any shots for the entire game, but really at the halftime we were like, okay, we're gonna start hitting shots. We'll be able to get some mismatches. We had taken care of the ball in the first half, and I thought we had rebounded really well. So I thought we had done our part to kind of hang in there. They had hit some early shots, kind of found our way back in the game. Again, it was the third quarter. We've been dealing with the third quarter the last couple of games, and so we've got to continue to fix that. But we didn't hit any shots tonight. I mean, we only had 5 assists, but when you don't make shots, you have that issue. We had 10 turnovers the second half, so we got away from our offensive execution. They hit shots, we didn't. I mean, they were plus 15 on the threes at home. Can't happen. And so we've got to be able to step up and hit shots. But we continue to play hard, and we just got to be better, especially in the third quarter, I felt.
Mainly, how did you feel like in the third quarter, especially? That's when it seemed like shot selection-wise, what did you feel like?
We settled for shots, especially early on. You know, we felt really good coming out of halftime. We kind of had a couple isolations that we wanted to kind of take a mismatch for our advantage, and we weren't able to read the defense. And I think sometimes dealing with a young team, a lot of times it's the counter and it's the details of our offense. You've got to be able to see what the defense does and then be able to counter that up. And we're not there yet. And I know it's something fans don't want to see, and we don't want to see it either, but we've got to be able to step up and start to read those counters and understand how they're defending and then be able to hit that second option. And we didn't do that, especially early on in the third quarter. We didn't hit shots either. I mean, we were able to attack, but then when we did get kickouts, we weren't able to hit those shots either. So we've got to be able to knock down shots, especially against a team like this.
They really pressured your shooting.
Yeah, they did.
They were right up in your face, and you weren't able to get by them. Yeah. Is that the kick out you're talking about?
Yeah, because we were able to. I felt like it's a false pressure. They're really active, but we still were able to get by. But it was the finish. We're fading away on our drives. We're fading away on a shot. We're not moving when the attack goes, and we're not being able to get those, those kickouts. We're staying right there. So now they can guard too. They can help, and they can rotate out and guard. And so it's the details. It's the second and third options that we're continuing to work through this year, and especially the second half of the season when you start to see a team the second time. You've got to be able to do that. Our youth came out tonight. We didn't do that, especially in the third quarter. And it's disappointing because you should be able to get that going. But we just have a couple lapses here and there, and then they were able to extend their lead. Hardison came in, had a good game, and she's been playing okay. She hasn't been playing great, and I thought she had a good game tonight. She had some outside shots, so it's something that they haven't seen. They got someone to step up. We need to have that. I talked about that on Wednesday. We need to have somebody step up for us too, and Yespes did fine, but we didn't have anybody else step up in that moment.
She was also in foul trouble.
She was, yeah, she was. We had some foul trouble with our bigs, but I think for the most part we've had that the last 3 games too as well. The foul trouble, and so we've got to be able to play through that.
Just talking about the youth still too, closeouts too in the second half seemed to be a big thing too. They were getting a lot of penetration and kickouts for some open threes that helped extend that lead. Is that another thing, just communication on defense and young players like that?
Yeah, I mean, all halftime we talked about their on-ball screen. We talked about how we were going to play it. Every time out we talked about it. And we talked about with the team after the game, you've got to be able to take those moments and then go out and actually do it on the court. We talked about that yesterday too at a press conference. So it's taking what we talked about, taking what we practiced, and then going on the court and doing it. And we didn't do it. We had miss assignments. We had people not in the right place on the on-ball screen. I did like our 5 defense, for the most part, to hold a team to 60. Our zone wasn't good at the beginning, so we turned it to our, person to person, and we did play pretty good defense. But we did have some lapses, and especially with the on-ball screen, I thought Clara did a great job on 35. The best shooter. So we had some good moments, but again, it's the collection of those in the third quarter. They were able to get a run, and then we weren't able to get back in it.
What do you look for Saturday?
Regroup, and let's get back after it tomorrow. I want a repeat of the Southeastern game. I want us to come out and fight and compete and play hard, and and let this one go, and we'll review it, but you got to leave it in the back and go forward. And I'm hoping we get that the momentum that we had going into the Southeastern game. We need to have that and then go finish a game.
Kind of touched on it there. And I just wanted to ask this last one, but
Yeah.
does it just feel like with such a young team that you just need to see that one game where you guys get a win at this point to move forward? It seems like you guys have been close and had good stretches.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like that team just needs to see some success in one game just to
I think
kinda get it
so.
going?
I mean, yeah. I mean, anytime you win, you solve a lot of problems. But it would be nice to get that, and we've really narrowed it down to possessions. And sometimes when we see 3 or 4 negative possession, that affects us too as a young team. So we've really focused on the positive, one positive possession at a time. And I know that sounds crazy, but we really narrowed it down to each possession and try to do that with this young team to try to get them to be positive and confident. So you can see in moments you can see that throughout the game. Now it's got to, like I said a little bit ago, it's got to be the collective of each quarter, and then the second half or the first half, and then the game. And then once we finish that, I think we will get momentum, but you have to get through that and kind of keep fighting and keep finding a way. And when you do that, you end up better at the end. And I think that's kind of our hope, and that's kind of our goal.
You good?
Okay. Thank you all.
Thank you, Joe.